So, Transformers 1 came and went, and like any movie, with it came a whole bunch of merchandise. Specifically, merchandise that you could buy at the movie theaters while you watch the movie. And with many different brands of movie theaters, it allows for a greater variety and giving you a lot more to choose from when it comes to your options. With one theater opting to give you your traditional bog standard popcorn bucket stamped with the logo of the movie you're going to go see, and another theater going more off the rails with their popcorn bucket offering and opting to give you something a bit more silly and out there, like maybe the head of the character who was starring in the movie. Personally, I prefer the second kind of popcorn bucket as it's a nice novelty piece of the movie to have, no matter how cursed it could be sometimes. And with that serving as the perfect segue to this video's discussion, with Transformers 1 having plenty of really awesome popcorn buckets, there's one in particular that never seemed to have gotten released. One that stands out more than the rest, and arguably the coolest one of them all. Join me as I take a deep dive and try to solve the mystery as to what happened to the Transformers 1 Optimus Prime transforming popcorn bucket. In early April of 2024, CinemaCon happened in Las Vegas, which is an event that is closed to the general public. CinemaCon is kind of like Comic-Con, but specifically for movie theaters, giving them a sneak peek as to what the movies are going to be like that they're going to be showing in their respective theaters, and of course, to show off the brand new merchandise that they are going to be carrying. And it was at this event where we caught our first glimpse at the potential popcorn bucket for Transformers 1, but in this popcorn bucket, we also got our first look at the design for Orion Pax / Optimus Prime for Transformers 1. So yeah, it was a pretty substantial leak, as not only did we get a preview at the merchandise for the film, but we also got our first look at the design for the character in the first place. And the funny thing is, while I was not the first person to leak all this out, I did contribute to it, as I was amongst the first people to start posting pictures and videos of this popcorn bucket.
This is the one that I think put popcorn buckets back on the map. As you can see, it is a sandworm. It's not anything else. Hands in and hands out.
That what you just saw was the video in question, and as you can see in the background, you can very clearly see the transforming popcorn bucket just chilling there on the shelf, and it looks to have been made by this company called Zinc. Now take a good look at the shelf behind them, because amongst the transforming popcorn bucket, many other popcorn buckets for movies coming out in 2024 also got leaked in this same video, like the Garfield movie popcorn bucket, and even the Alien Romulus Xenomorph head popcorn bucket. And even though you don't see it in this video clip or in this screenshot, they did also have the Deadpool and Wolverine taxi popcorn bucket. All of them getting leaked in this one video and going on to be released with their respective movies, except for the Optimus Prime transforming popcorn bucket. But why? All of the other buckets got leaked in the same video and they still went on to get released, so what makes this one so different? Could it be the fact that it got leaked out in the first place that prevented it from being released? Remember, this was a time before we knew anything about the movie other than the fact that it was going to be an origin story for the Transformers, meaning that we were still completely in the dark and we didn't even have the designs for the characters yet, especially Orion Pax / Optimus Prime. It's not hard to imagine that when this leak happened and everyone saw what Optimus Prime was going to look like before Hasbro and Paramount were ready to show anything, they were understandably pissed. Even though Hasbro is known for making questionable and just downright awful decisions, they don't seem like a very petty company. Even though it's not Hasbro that made this thing, it was made by Zinc, they still had to have collaborated with this company to allow these things to get made in the first place. And if you look on the shelf next to the bucket, you'll actually see a couple of soda toppers that did get released. It's just a popcorn bucket that didn't get made for whatever reason. Going on to their official website, I tried looking for any sort of clues or any statements or any evidence whatsoever as to why they potentially canceled this popcorn bucket, which really didn't lead to much of anything. They do, however, have a section to where you could contact them and ask them whatever query you may have. So that's exactly what I did, filling out the form with my name, my email, and of course asking them about the popcorn bucket. I filled this out 5 days ago, and I still have not received anything. So unless Hasbro is actually a very petty company that was pissed off at Zinc for unexpectedly getting the Optimus Prime design leaked too early, I don't think that's the case for the cancellation of this popcorn bucket. So working on nothing but pure speculation and using a little bit of logic, I can immediately tell by looking at this thing that it would have been really challenging to engineer it to do everything they wanted it to do while also keeping it affordable. The main gimmick is that it would be able to transform into a truck, but you have to remember that it's a popcorn bucket, meaning that it would have had to have had a hollow cavity for you to obviously put your popcorn into. And looking at the stomach of the figure, it looks like it would have been able to pull out, acting as a cup holder for you to put a drink into. That is a lot of stuff for this popcorn bucket to be able to do, which probably was a big pain in the ass to engineer, and keep in mind that they would have had to mass produce these things. And with all the things that it would have been able to do, it probably would have made it pretty expensive. Keep in mind that this was not being made by Hasbro, rather a company called Zinc that's known for making popcorn buckets. This probably proved to be the most challenging bucket they've ever made, and ultimately decided that it wasn't worth it, scrapping the idea for a transforming popcorn bucket entirely. But this is just pure speculation, and until Zinc reaches back out to me, we may truly never know the real reason why this popcorn bucket was cancelled. However, there is a silver lining, because our hero in the 3D printing community, Hightail Creations, is currently working on making his popcorn bucket with all of its intended features, and he usually makes his designs available for download shortly afterwards on his Cult's 3D page. So if you have a 3D printer or know someone who does and you really want this popcorn bucket, give them a follow and make sure you stay tuned. And while you're at it, consider following me right here on YouTube by hitting that subscribe button, as it would greatly help out the channel and I would appreciate it greatly. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and be sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed. And as always, thank you for watching.